Welcome to my channel, students. Today in our class we are going to discuss about pass transistor, that is unit 2 topic. We have so far we have studied about the complementary CMOS, static CMOS circuits. So here in pass transistor, what is the beauty is an NMOS transistor is a perfect switch when passing a zero. So this thing we know. An NMOS is a perfect switch when it passes a zero. That means a strong passing zero. Similarly, when a 1 is to be passed, so an NMOS is called imperfect because an NMOS passes an imperfect 1. That is called a degraded 1 we call. But while you consider about PMOS, so the PMOS passes strong 1, at the same time it passes a degraded 0. So this is the case you should remember for understanding this pass transistor logic. So NMOS passes strongly 0 while a PMOS passes strong 1. And here is the symbol for an NMOS. So because in pass transistor logic we are going to use either an NMOS or a PMOS for creating a logic. So here we are now looking at a symbol of NMOS, a source, drain and a gate. And we already know an NMOS turns on when you provide gate is equal to 1. So when you provide gate is equal to 0, when the gate signal is 0, so we know very well that when gate is provided with 0, so the source and drain, that switch will be acting as an open circuit. So there is no contact between source and drain when gate is equal to 0. At the same time, if gate is provided with the value 1, G is equal to 1, in the sense this switch now acting like a closed one. So you can see when gate is high, the switch between source and drain, it is assumed to be closed condition. So now the data which are present in source can be propagated to drain. That is, from here to here the data can be transmitted. So that is what interpreted in the next diagram also. So when input is 0 and your gate is high, what will be the output? So it passes the 0 strongly because this is an NMOS. So an NMOS passes strongly 0. See, your gate is also high. So under gate high condition, your NMOS is now ready to pass the data which is available in source. Similarly, when gate is equal to 1, gate is high, at the same time if you have a data 1 at the source, so your NMOS is passing the 1, but it passes the 1 in a degraded way. It passes not the entire 1 voltage level, that means not a high level. In a degraded way it passes. So similarly now we'll look into the next MOS, that is called a PMOS. So a PMOS, we know about the switching condition of PMOS. A PMOS turns on when the gate signal is 0. When gate is provided with 0, at that time we call that the PMOS is on. So when you give gate 0, the switch is closed between source and drain, and so whatever the data is available in source, they are transmitted to drain. Similarly, when gate is equal to 1, that is when high input signal is given to PMOS, when you apply 1 signal, so there is no contact between source and drain because it is open switch now. So no output is passed. So interpreting this now, we are looking into the operation. See, with gate equal to 0 condition, you can pass either 0 or 1. If you want to pass 0, then and when gate equal to 0, the switch is closed. So the same data is passed here, but in a degraded way because a PMOS is effective in passing a strong 1. It passes a degraded 0. And the next condition is when the signal is 1, when the input is high. When the input is 1 and your gate is 0, at that time this input is passed on to the output in a strong way. That means your PMOS will pass a 1 strongly. Since it is connected to VDD, it passes the 1 strongly. So as a whole, what we conclude is, when an NMOS or PMOS is used alone as an imperfect switch, then we call it as a pass transistor. So a pass transistor is an imperfect switch which uses only an NMOS or a PMOS circuit. Okay. So with this NMOS and PMOS circuit, you can able to make any kind of logics. With pass transistor logic, you can make like your static CMOS circuits, you can build any kind of logical functions. The advantage is because when comparing to complementary CMOS circuits, these pass transistors require very less number of transistors. So that is a very important advantage. And also here, while using the pass transistor logic, the number of transistors are reduced to implement a logic. And another important thing is you can get the direct outputs. That is, in complementary CMOS, whatever the output you are getting, that are complementary functions. If you are giving that is, you can obtain the NAND operation. And if you want to obtain AND, first you have to obtain NAND, and from that NAND you have to invert the signal, and then you can able to get the AND operation. So it requires, that means it is not giving you a direct complementary output. It is not giving you the direct direct output. Only the complementary outputs are given in the complementary CMOS circuits. But in pass transistor, you can obtain the signals. That is, you can obtain the direct functions like AND or the basic logic gates. Direct functions you can obtain. Okay, so that is what we are going to see now. How a pass transistor is helpful in implementing AND gate. See, an AND gate is represented here with the help of pass transistor logic. It uses visibly it uses 2 transistors. Okay. So here since it is AND gate truth table we know. So for an AND gate we are going to provide 2 input signals and 1 output. So the 2 inputs, since it has 2 inputs, we have to take 2 MOSes, 2 NMOS we have to take for 2 input signals. So I take the 2 NMOS and then I assume the input values are A and B, and for an pass transistor there must be a controlling signal. That is, the gate is the controlling element, So that gate control signal we have to give. Here I am choosing the B as one of the inputs we have to choose as control. Okay. So here we have 2 inputs. So out of the 2 inputs, I am choosing B as my controlling input. So at one NMOS, we are going to give the B signal directly, and at other NMOS, the complement of B, that is B bar as a input, the controlling input. Okay. So, and later that, so these A and B are your inputs, and the control input again chosen as B and B bar. For one MOS it is B, and another MOS it is B bar. Like that you have to choose, and then the drain of the first NMOS must be connected to the drain of the second NMOS. So in this way we have to complete the circuit. So 2 NMOSes we have taken with inputs A and B, and the gate control input is B and B bar, and drain output of the 2 NMOSes were connected combinedly, and from there we are taking the output Y. So now we'll check whether this circuit is functioning the AND implementation or not. See here, first when I assume my input as 0, 0, if I give my input A0 and B0, to check the circuit operation, what will happen? When I give A and B0, 0, what will happen? A0, B0. So here the control input, since it is B0, this point will become 0. B bar is now will become 1. Because B is 0, B bar is 1, no. Okay, so now check the operation of this MOS transistor. So you know very well, a MOS transistor turns on when the gate is high. Whenever gate is high, the MOS is on. So here the first NMOS is obviously not on because the gate is 0. So the first NMOS is off condition. So it is in off mode. Then look at the condition of the NMOS in the second one. So the second NMOS is getting B bar 1. So it is a high input signal. So because of this high input signal, this NMOS is now turned on. So due to that, whatever the signal given to this B input 0, so that 0 is now passed on to the output. So your output would be 0. You will get 0 as your output for the first condition. When A equal to 0 and B equal to 0, your output is 0. Okay, similarly, when A equal to 0 and B is equal to 1, what will happen? A is 0, B is 1. So you apply the signals in the circuit A0 and B0. What will happen? Check. When A is equal to 0, you just apply the values in the circuit so that you can able to identify the functions easily. Seema, okay, now I have cleared all the writings. So now the condition what I have told is A is 0, B is 1. Okay, so since B is equal to 1, so this control input is also 1, and here B bar would be 0 now. So at this time, you know, for PMOS to turn on, the gate must be high. So out of the two, this is NMOS, not PMOS. Out of the two NMOSs, so the two NMOSs, the gate high is for the first NMOS. So this NMOS is now provided with G1. So this is only on condition. The first NMOS is on. But the second NMOS, this NMOS is off. Because the gate is now 0. The gate, how it is given? 0. So for a 0 input, the NMOS will be turned off. So for the second input, the first NMOS is on, and so the input of the first NMOS is 0. So that is propagated at the output as 0. So for the second case, also you are getting the 0 output. So the first truth table value is verified, a second truth table value is verified, and then next thing, we have to look into the third case, 1 0. So even though you apply 1 0, at that time also what you will get, one NMOS will be on and another NMOS will be off. So by the way, you will get the value, the output value would be for you, it is 0 only. And finally the value you have to check is 1 1. So when both the inputs are high, what will happen? When both inputs are high, we have a condition that the gate, one gate will get a high value and other gate will get 0 value. So for example, I'll write it here. So now the condition is both my A, B are 1 1. So both my A, B are 1 1. So at this time B value is 1, B bar is 0 here now. Okay. So when B is equal to 1 and B bar equal to 0, so obviously the NMOS with 0 input, 0 gate input, that will be ruled out, because when you give a 0 voltage to an NMOS, it is turned off. So only the NMOS that is turned on is the first NMOS with a high gate input 1. So what is the input of that NMOS? So that NMOS is having the input of 1. Okay. So that one input is given to the output. So you get finally the Y as 1. Y output as 1 value. Okay. So the truth table is now verified. So what you understand from this is, whenever both the inputs are high, and applied to this gate, at that time only your circuit produces a high output. So definitely this circuit is giving an AND gate operation. It is performing an operation of AND. Understand? So like this way we have to connect our NMOSs to verify, to get different logical operations. So here another important thing you must see is how many transistors that are used for implementing this AND logic. So you can directly calculate the transistors, number of transistor. So for this is one transistor and this is another second transistor, and for providing B bar, the input is the input one signal that is inverted and given here. So for inversion, we know we have to invert the B signal. When you invert B into B, then only you will get B bar, correct? So for implementing inverter in CMOS, how many transistors we require? We require 2 transistors, right? One NMOS and one PMOS. So totally your circuit requires how many transistors? These 2 transistor NMOS and then one N and PMOS. So totally 4 transistors you require for implementing the NAND operation. For implementing the NAND operation, we require 4 transistors. But same thing, if you want to implement in complementary logic, you imagine how many transistors will it require. In complementary logic, first we have to build a NAND circuit. Okay, so you have to first build a CMOS NAND circuit, and then that NAND must be inverted so that to get the AND operation. So NAND is inverted, so get AND operation, because basically complementary CMOS logic and all, they provide only the complementary outputs, not the direct outputs. So if you want to get the direct functions, you have to invert it. Then only you will get the direct basic logical operations. So in that case, how many transistors you will be require? For example, if it is 2 input NAND gate, for implementing a 2 input NAND gate, you require 4 transistor. That means 2 NMOS and 2 PMOS. And for implementing inverter, you will require 2 more transistors. So totally, to get an AND operation, how many transistor we require? 6 transistor we require. For example, I am telling. So you require 6 transistor for implementing a AND logic in complementary CMOS. Same thing we have implemented with the 4 transistor using pass transistors. So that is one more advantage of these pass transistor. And next is, using pass transistor logic, can we build complementary functions? Like, is it possible to make complementary functions? Yes, it is possible. So using pass transistor logic, we can able to make complementary pass transistor, that is called CPL, complementary pass transistor logic. Okay, so here you can extend the AND operation. For AND, what are all the connection we made? No, just slightly I am extending it so that to make the next combination AND and NAND in a same circuit. So what we have to do is, from the AND you draw 2 more NMOSes parallelly, and then you connect the control signal B with one NMOS, B bar with another NMOS, and combine the 2 drain and drain values. So you take the output from here. The first output is A dot B, AND operation, and from the lower part, where the output that we get is A dot B the whole bar, because for the lower signal, lower NMOS, we are going to provide the input as A bar and B bar. For getting the AND logic, the input that is that we are feeding are A and B. Okay, so here in NAND logic, we have to give A bar and B bar. So just to connect the control signal, for A bar the control signal is B, and for B bar the control signal is B bar again. So you can verify the logic. So the first part of the circuit will give you AND function, and the later part of the circuit will give you NAND function. So in a single circuit, you can able to obtain AND as well as NAND logic. That is called complementary pass transistor logic, CPL logic. Okay, so the area is minimized here since it uses less number of transistors. So in that way, and another implementation called MUX. Multiplexer is a very important element that is in digital we need to build. So here is an example for 2:1 multiplexer. For a 2:1 multiplexer, we know that input data are I0 and I1, and then the control signal we are choosing are, the control signal is control signal is A and output is Y. So writing the truth table for this multiplexer, how you will write? Depending upon the selection line A, your input data I0 and I1 are selected. So if the selection line is A is 0, then output would be I0. It will pass I0 to the output when selection is 0. When the selection is 1, the I1 data will be passed on to the output. Okay, so I0, when either depending upon your selection line 0 or 1, based on that your I0 and I1 are passing. So we can write the equation like this expression, y is equal to, simply how can I write? A bar, so the first line is A bar I0 plus A into I1. Correct? A bar I0, A I1. So this is my expression. With this expression, now we can make the circuit. for pass transistor. That is a multiplexer using pass transistors. So generally you know my multiplexer circuit. So about the multiplexer circuit, it requires so many gates and logical implementation. But now with this pass transistor logic, this multiplexer operation can be explained with simply 4 transistors. So 2 transistors given for I0 and I1, and one is for inverting. So two more transistors we are using for inverting the input. Okay. So now you can see the operation, how we have to build the circuit, construct the circuit, pass transistor circuit. Okay, so see here, ma'am. So it is I0. So the control input is it is understood. I0 and I1 are your 2 inputs. So you take 2 NMOSes with I0, I1 input signals, and the control input is A. Correct? One control is A bar and other control is A. So A bar, A are the 2 control signals given at the gate. Okay. And now you see the condition. First, I0 A bar plus I1 A is equal to your Y. So this expression is now drawn into this circuit. So circuit gives I0 A bar plus I1 A. So this is going to give you our output Y. Okay, so like this we can implement the logicals, many logical expressions, and you can form the circuit. So the next is the 4:1 max. For 4:1 max, 4 data lines, 2 select lines are used. Based on the selection, 2 selection lines, the selection values are 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. According to the selection values, I0, I1, I2, I3 are selected. Okay, so 2 select lines, so it is selected, the datas are selected like that. So Y is equal to, you can write the expression now as we have written the expression for the previous 2:1 max. So here I can write the expression as A bar B bar I0 plus A bar B I1 plus A B bar I2, then AB I3. Correct? So this is our expression for Y. So now you can implement this expression. So write the expression and later that you can implement the circuit. So for implementing the circuit, keep the once again observe the equation. So what is that equation? A bar B bar I0 plus A bar B I1, A B bar I2 plus AB I3. You just see the expression. One thing you can find is with the first 2 terms. With the first 2 terms, what you see is the term A bar is constant. Correct? I0 is your data, I1 is your data, A bar is constant, maintaining constant, and B bar, it is a control signal that is varying. That is the input control signal. So I can draw the NMOS like this. First 2 cases, I am choosing 2 NMOSes. So choose 2 NMOS values, 2 NMOSes with input what? With the input I0 and with one input I1. So like this I choose the 2 NMOSes. And the gate values are one gate is getting B bar and another gate is B. Correct? So now you can see I0 B bar one function and I1 B another function. Common function is A bar. So you just connect an common A bar NMOS to series. So 2 NMOSes with I0 I1 input, and this function is commonly connected with A bar. Similarly, you implement the next 2 functions here. So here you can see A is remaining constant. The A is constant here. So put a value of A NMOS. A gate signal. For that you are drawing an NMOS, and then this is connected in series to the segment. What segment? A B bar, that is A is common, no, so B bar I2 and B I3. So where the control signals are B bar and B, so B bar I2, so this is one control input, B bar I2. Okay, and the another control is B I3, B bar I2, B I3. combinedly it is given series to A. So you get the output function Y. So this function, the expression above given, no, so that is implemented using the pass transistor logic. So this is an expression for 4:1 mux. So the last topic in pass transistor is studying the drawback of pass transistor logic. As I said already, pass transistors in NMOS is actually passing a degraded high signal. That is, when the input is 1, it passes in a degraded way. For example, if your input is 2 volt, you have to pass, which is available in the source. When the gate is on for the NMOS, what we actually expect is the 2 volt must arrive at the output. The same 2 volt, no. But actually what arrives is only you will get 1.3 volt. Because what is this 1.3 volt in the sense? The 2 volt, no, from the 2 volt, the threshold value of this device. For example, here I have taken the threshold voltage as 0.7 volt. So that threshold voltage will be subtracted from the input value and the remaining only will appear at the output. So this is called level deterioration, that is a degradation in the output signal. So to overcome the problem is, if it is happens for one NMOS, no problem, but when you cascade the NMOSs, that is when you are connecting so many NMOSs in cascade manner, that means in series manner, at that time this is the output will be degrading continuously. It keeps on decreasing continuously. So that is an unfavorable thing. So to overcome this drawback, level restoration is used. So what does level restoration means? So when an NMOS is used here, you can notice at the output there is a capacitor, load capacitor is connected. So in this stage you get the decreased load, no. So when 2 volt signal is coming here in a degraded way, what this circuit is doing is, it uses an inverter circuit, and then the inverter output is fed into an PMOS. So what is the use of this inverter and PMOS? We'll see now. So here when the NMOS gives an output signal at this node, for example you are giving 2 volt, so that means a high logic, whatever that is if you are giving 1 volt or 2 volt something, so it passes the signal to here inverter. Okay, so when a high voltage is applied here, that means the voltage, some voltage level is applied to inverter. We know what the inverter will do. So the inverter will now invert the signal. So if it receives one signal, it will invert it and make it 0, and that 0 will be passed on to this, fed back to an PMOS. We know for a PMOS to turn on, we must give 0. So the 0 is fed to this PMOS. So the PMOS is turned on. So we know PMOS is connected with VDD. So with the VDD voltage, your node will be charged now. So the VDD probably maybe 2 volt. So you can keep the VDD value as 2 volt. So at any time, whenever your output, that means the output of NMOS for the pass transistor, so it is always maintained at the level of VDD. So to the value of VDD, your load capacitor will be charging. So your output level now, it is not deteriorating with the help of this level restoration circuit. Okay. So you just apply this condition. So what I said is, when your NMOS produces an high input signal, that is a high signal, so that means logical 1, when it passes logical 1, so logical 1 means practically you can imagine it as a 2 volt or something voltage wise. So this logical 1 is inverted and 0 signal is passed here. So when 0 is passed here, it turns on the PMOS. So PMOS is connected with the VDD. So the VDD value is now passing through this node. So your node as well as the connected load capacitor are charged up to the VDD level. Okay, so by this way you can maintain that node voltage VDD up to VDD level without any degradation. This is called level restoration, which is done to overcome the problem with the past transistors. Okay, thank you students.